On April 3, 1946, less than 1 year after the war, the newspaper Het Parool published the first article about Anne Frank. It would directly lead to its publication 1 year later. Although Frank, sole survivor of the 8 in hiding for more than 2 years, and the horror of the concentration camps after that, was first hesitant to read the diary. When he finally did, he was overwhelmed by emotions. Initially, he thought it too personal and intimate to publish, questioning who would be interested. But friends were able to persuade him, and he remembered that Anne always wanted to be a writer and publish something. When he agreed, he put himself behind it with great effort. For weeks he worked to type out a compilation, but couldn't find an interested publisher. Till Jan Romein, professor of history at the University of Amsterdam, wrote this article, which starts as follows. By chance I got hold of a diary written during the war years. The National Institute for the War Documentation already owns 200 such diaries, but I would be surprised if there was one like this, so pure, so intelligent, and yet so human, that I forgot a present with its many duties for one evening and read it in one go. Even though the article invoked the interest of publishers, it still took 1 year, where Otto Frank contributed 2500 guilders, a lot of money then, to its first print of 3000 copies. Jan Romein himself was wanted by the Germans, and with his wife hid 2 Jews during the war. His article continues. When I finished, it was night, and I was surprised that the light was still on, that bread and tea were still available, that I did not hear any planes roaring nor soldiers' boots in the streets, so much that the diary captivated me and brought me back to the unreal world that is now almost a year behind us. He goes on to describe the background of the diary and its writer. As one would expect so short after the war and being a history professor, he also focuses strongly on the political side and the symbolic meaning of Anne Frank's tragic fate. I thought it surprising that after discussing a most likely horrible death for the author, he mentions the following. The manner of her death is also not important. More important is that, although we swore to each other never to forgive or forget the mindless cruelty of this system while it was still raging, which deliberately cut off this young life, now that it is over, we are in the process of, if not forgiving, forgetting, which ultimately amounts to the same. People wanted no doubt after the bad war years to look to the future. Then he goes into the symbolic meaning of the diary in quite a profound way, as follows. For me, however, in this seemingly insignificant diary of a child, in this de profundis, stammered by a child's voice, all the hideousness of fascism is embodied more than in all the Nuremberg legal documents combined. For me, the fate of this Jewish girl summarizes the worst crime committed by that eternally detestable spirit, because that worst crime is plugging the sources of culture, the destruction of life and talent only from the mindless will to destroy. I just want to read the rest because I think it's so meaningful. Of note to me especially is his assertion that there shouldn't be only a rejection of evil or wrong views, but also as a necessity, positive values to counter it. Apologies for my accent and maybe not ideal translation. If not all indications are deceiving, this girl would have become a gifted writer if she had continued to live. Coming from Germany at the age of 4, she already wrote an enviable, pure and sober Dutch 10 years later, and shows such a flawless insight into human nature, not excluding her own, that it would have been surprising from an adult, let alone a child. But she also shows the infinite possibilities of that same human nature, which lie in the humor, pity and love, about which one should perhaps be even more surprised and even shrink back from, if rejection and acceptance had not remained so intimately childish at the same time. That this girl could be robbed and killed is proof to me that we have lost the battle against the beast in man, and we lost it because we did not put anything positive opposed to it. And that is why we will lose it again, in whatever form inhumanity will befall us, if we are unable to offer anything positive against it. The promise that we will never forget and forgive is not enough. It is not even enough to keep that promise. Passive and negative rejection is not enough. Active and positive totalitarian democracy, politically, socially, economically and culturally, will prove to be the only resort. Building a society in which talent is no longer destroyed, oppressed and repressed, but discovered, cultivated and encouraged wherever it occurs. And we are, with all our good intentions, as far removed from that democracy as before the war.